Welcome to the Credit Concept Podcast. I am your host, Credit Coach Nicole Scott, and in today's episode, we are going to be talking about none other than child support. I know it's such a sensitive topic for many, but I want to kind of go over, what to do when you are dealing with child support, because child support is reported to your credit reports. It might not be reported to every single credit bureau. I would recommend opting out or freezing the third-party agencies. You can get the third-party freezing guide below. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And if you haven't by now, make sure that you have followed me on YouTube and Instagram at Credit Coach Nicole Scott. You can also listen to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. So, child support is one of those things that can either help you or help destroy you. So let's talk about how child support accounts can help you first, right? They can help you because they are considered to be a trade line when they are on your credit report. They are considered an installment trade line. A lot of times they are listed under, an other section because when the credit bureaus get them, they don't really know how to categorize them. But at the end of the day, when you have an account where you make a monthly payment, that account is considered to be an installment payment. And a lot of times child support is going to be the same payment that you pay every single month. So as long as you pay that payment and the child support is reported on your credit report, you will have that account to help you build credit, because every month they're reporting an on-time payment. And the more on-time payments that you have reporting on your credit report, the better your credit score is going to be. But if you are late on any of the accounts that report to your credit report, it can destroy you. So that's going to be the biggest thing, is when we have child support accounts reported on our credit report, it is extremely important to make sure that they are being reported and paid on time. A lot of times people will get it automatically out of their paycheck. However you pay your child support, you just want to make sure that you are paying it on time. So that way, when it is reported to the credit reporting agencies and the data reporting agencies, you're getting that on-time payment. Now, on the flip side of that, child support can, hurt you and help destroy you, because if you have a payment that you're not paying on time every month, it's going to turn into a negative account. And once that account is negative, we have one of two things that we can do. First thing that we can do is we can try to get the account removed from our credit report by disputing it. Now, you can dispute any account that's on your credit report that's reporting inaccurate or false or fraudulent information to the credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, and you can request that they remove it. If they can't prove it, remove it. Okay, that's the motto I go by. If you can't prove it, remove it. And if they cannot prove that the information is 100% accurate and verified, then they must remove it. And you can send in additional supporting documentation if you do have anything that is reporting false or fraudulently on your credit report. Okay, bottom line is, if you are not able to get it removed, then you got to go to the other step, which is step 2, right? Step 2 is, okay, I've got this negative account. I've disputed it. They won't remove it from my credit report. What do I do now? Well, guess what? Not everything can be removed from your credit report. And that's just me being honest and transparent with you. Sometimes it takes a long time to go back and forth with these credit bureaus. So what I would recommend that anyone do is to get into good standing with child support. And you might think, well, duh, but I don't want to do that. I can't do that, whatever the reason is. Well, I'm here to tell you that's what we need to do. Okay. And if that means that you have to go back through court and you have to make some adjustments, that's what you need to do, because we need to deal with the source of the problem. And I was helping a client, and the problem was that his child support was being determined based on a salary that was no longer in effect. And that got ugly real fast. So we need to make sure that you are on a child support payment plan that is going to be, reflective based on the amount of money that you make and, of course, your expenses. So if you need to go back to court, if you need to call the child support department and advise them that you are being overcharged for child support, then you need to do that, because we need to figure out what we need to do with the child support so we can get you an affordable monthly payment plan that is going to be based on your said income. Okay. And once we can turn this negative account into a positive account, it's going to help you, because it's called government money. Okay. And this is not necessarily government money, but it is definitely like state involved, right? And we all know that the government runs the state. So at the end of the day, if you don't pay your child support, they could potentially come after you and garnish your wages for it. They could take your taxes. They could take your tax returns. They could also, what I've had happen to some of my clients is they can take your driver's license. And a lot of my clients, they drive professionally, and that would be the biggest thing that they could do to ruin their life, is take away their driver's license. So we need to get into good standing with these people anyways, because the bottom line is the child support isn't going to just go away. Even if you get it deleted from your credit report, it doesn't go away. And that's with any account out there. You have to understand the concept behind what a credit report is. Just because it's not on your credit report doesn't mean that you don't owe the debt. It doesn't mean that the creditor who was reporting it to the credit reporting agencies isn't going to try to come after you directly. And that's when people start getting sued. They don't show up to court. They get a default judgment. They start garnishing your wages. They start taking your taxes. The same thing is going to happen if you don't pay your child support. So we need to get into good standing with this account, and we need to contact the child supporting agency who is handling your case, and you need to let them know that you are no longer able to afford the payment and you would like to come up with an income-driven payment plan that you can afford, so that way you can pay it on time every single month. And sometimes that it might be a lot lower than what it is. And honestly, that's okay, because, at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you can survive and that you're also providing for your child, and if it's deeper than that, I apologize. It does get sticky sometimes, but you need to deal with it at the source of the problem. Okay. If the source of the problem means you need to go to court, you need to get a DNA, you need to deal with it, and you need to get it done. There's so many people out there that have excuses as to why they can't do something, and it is 2023. Okay, excuses are no longer acceptable without a solution. So if you have an excuse, you need to be providing me with the solution to your excuse, because there is a solution out there for pretty much anything. It might take some additional work. It might take some additional steps, but we have to start somewhere. We have to start taking action so eventually we can get to the goal. And the goal is to be able to have you be able to afford to pay your child support at a monthly payment that is, based on what your income and your bills are, because you have to be able to live, you have to be able to have stable housing in order to care for your child. And that's very important. Okay. So no matter if you're a man or a woman, you need to get the child support into good standing and deal with the problem at the source, because these things just don't go away, and unfortunately they just get uglier and more expensive. So if you can get onto the payment plan, start the process, that's what we need to do. Because even if you do get it off of your credit report, great, it's not on your credit report. That just is buying you extra time, and you're definitely getting penalized, and you're paying interest on the money that you already owe. And if you're being charged a monthly amount that's based on an old withhold income or false information, then, that's just a complete error, and we need to get it fixed from the solution of, dealing with it in the courts, or if child support can help get it corrected on their end, great. But let's get it into good standing. Let's get onto an income-based payment plan with them. Whatever documentation you need to do, you need to get it done, so that way you can go into this year of 2023 confident that, hey, this is no longer going to hold me back. So what else do I need to do to my credit to get it above a 700 credit score? Because at the end of the day, the goal for anyone out there is to rise above, right? And right now, credit is being held at a higher standard. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you could get a lot with a 680, but it's not like that anymore. With the amount of people that are taking out credit loans, credit cards, the banks are a lot more strict and careful, because someone with a lower credit score is considered to be a riskier borrower. So you definitely want to have a goal of trying to reach at least a 720 and above. 720 and above is a good place to be. And in order for you to be at a 720, you're going to need to make sure that all of the accounts on your credit report are in good standing. They are all reporting an on-time payment. Your credit card utilization is below 15%, okay, until you've got at least 5 years or more of good history. Once you have more history, more on-time payments, then of course your credit utilization can be a little bit higher, maybe up to 30%, but 30% is way too high for those of you that don't have a lengthy credit history, because you haven't proved yourself quite yet. Those that only have like a 2-year history, well, FICO 10 is coming out. It's out actually, and a lot more lenders are going to start to use it, and they're actually going to be looking at the last 48 months worth of history. FICO 8 and FICO 9, they really only look at the last 24 months of history. So those of you that had late payments in the past, now is the time to get that corrected and make sure that you never get another late payment. If you are responsible, you just need to make sure that you put all of your dates, because being responsible is being organized, okay? You need to put all of your due dates in your calendar, put a reminder on them so it pops up on your phone, okay? You can use Google or whatever platform you use, but put it in your calendar so it pops up as a reminder at least 3 times in your phone. You can put your due dates for your accounts, but what you really need to do is get a spreadsheet, Excel, Google Sheets, list out all of your bills, the amounts, due dates, all of the pertinent information, so that way you can get organized, know what your living expenses are, put a budget together so you're not overspending, and make sure that you can afford to pay all of these payments on time. Even if it's just the minimum amount due, that's fine, because the concept behind on-time payments is paying the minimum amount due by the due date, okay? And if you are late, then it can literally ruin your credit. And I have seen people who have had one late payment reported and it dropped their credit score 70, 80, 90, 100 points. So it's a huge dent that is put into your credit report when you get a late payment reported on your credit. So that's why it's so important to understand the concept. The concept is any credit account that reports to your credit or that is on your credit needs to be reporting on time. If it's not reporting on time, it's considered to be a negative account. And we need to figure out how to get that negative either removed or in good standing. Okay, you got 2 options. Either we can try to get it removed, but if it's not going to be removed because it's valid, and every account can't be removed from your credit profile. Now, I do recommend continuing to challenge it until they remove it. Continuing to say that it is a violation of your privacy, to continue to use the law in your favor, the consumer law in your favor. But until you are able to get it removed, you need to figure out how you can get this in into good standing, because it can take a while to get items deleted from your credit report. Sometimes it's a fast process, sometimes it's a very lengthy process. So I would recommend that you not just rely on trying to get an account removed from your credit report, but in this case, when it comes to child support, you want to try to get into good standing. Okay, how can you get into a payment plan, even if it's a low payment plan, where you're just in good standing, you're getting that on-time monthly payment reported to your credit to help you build credit. You're turning that negative into a positive. And that's what we want. We want to turn the negative into a positive, okay? And then just build on that and continue to build up more positive credit, because the ultimate goal here is to have every account that is reporting on your credit report, and I recommend having at least 10 to 20 accounts reporting on your credit report. And that might sound like a lot, but if you don't have enough credit, that's a problem as well. So you want to have enough credit. You don't necessarily need to be using all of that credit, but they need to be accounts that you have shown payment history for, okay? And child support is a payment history account, so it is considered to be a trade line because it will show your payment history. So at the end of the day, understanding the concept behind credit and just getting these accounts that are on our credit that are negatively affecting our credit, we want to turn those into a positive. So for more information, feel free to visit the description below, where you can find a bunch of links on how we can connect more. We have our credit course, our business credit course. We also have a ton of different ebooks that you can get. We have a couple free ebooks on building business credit, 7 steps to acquire 500K. And we also have the free credit building guide, where we provide you with a bunch of different options for you to start building and establishing more credit on your credit report. Even if you have bad credit, you can get a lot of these accounts and just start establishing your ability to repay back debt as agreed. And at the end of the day, what that means is just pay your bills on time and have multiple accounts that show you that you are trustworthy, you are creditworthy, and that you will pay on time. And thank you. I appreciate you listening to this podcast until the end. So until next time, I hope that you take action and do whatever it is that you need to do. If you have found value in this podcast, make sure that you have shared it with a friend. This is the Credit Concept Podcast, hosted by none other than Credit Coach Nicole Scott. Make sure that you have followed me on YouTube and Instagram at Credit Coach Nicole Scott. Of course, I'm on Facebook and TikTok and all that good stuff as well. But you can listen to these podcasts, the Credit Concept Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, take care.